choice of topic. Are you aware of the Dhammapada verse that I'm introducing tonight? Yes? No? Look, yes or no, never heard of? Yes. Are you familiar with the story? You're not familiar with the story? Ah, okay. I was going to say maybe we can skip the story and go into the verse. There is a reason why I chose this verse. One is not a knower of the Dhamma on account of talking a lot. Anyone who has heard barely anything but sees the Dhamma with the body, he indeed is a Dhammadara. He does not neglect the Dhamma. And we will show you the slides further, but just have an idea of this. I'll tell you the story, why, and then I'll explain why I chose this verse. First, I tell you the story. For the benefit of those who never heard of the story, it's a really cute one, and I have told this story before here, pretty sure here in this class. It's about this rather unusual Arahan by the name Ekudana. He knows only one stanza. Of all the teachings the Buddha had, he knows only one stanza. And on every full moon day, he would recite that one stanza. He lived alone in the forest, so he would recite that one stanza. And as a result of his recitation, the guardian spirits of the forest, all the devas, they will applaud furiously, resoundingly. One stanza he will chant, and they will applaud. And so he said, hey, the devas here are very friendly, nice devas. One day, two well-versed scholar, PhD holder, monks came. And then he told them, he said, the devas here are very friendly. And actually, they came and then they said, if we want to give a Dhamma talk, is there anyone to listen? And he said, yeah, the devas here are very friendly. You give the Dhamma talk and they will cheer. And then, they're a bit skeptical, they don't see anything, they don't see anyone, but okay, you say so, I will tell the Dhamma, I will speak. So the first one came. He gave this long recitation, this long Dhamma talk. And of which, silence. Then the second one came and said, okay, my turn. They gave this long Dhamma talk. At the end of which, silence. So the two of them looked at him and he said, I'm not sure why, but I show you. So he went up and he, one stanza. And immediately the whole place exploded into applause. So these two Theras, not happy. They stare at him, one stanza. And you get the, you say, yeah. So they're not happy. They went to see Buddha complain. They went to Jetavana, they go to see the Buddha, and they complain. They said, this funny place, they are partial towards him. When he gives one stanza, they applaud. We give Dhamma talk, long, silence. And that's when the Buddha said this. Okay? Something along this line. Now, what's the significance of this? I chose this topic because I want to make the point that it is important in this journey, it is important to strike a balance between knowledge, theory, and practice. Knowledge, when you set out, the knowledge that you have on the Dhamma is what I call conceptual. It's all here, stored up in your brain. You can recite in different languages. Mandarin, Pali, Sanskrit. You can recite in many languages what you know. But until that knowledge becomes a way of life, it is still cerebral. It's still in the brain. It hasn't sunk down into the heart into the stomach. And as long as the knowledge, the conceptual knowledge that you have stays within your neural pathways up here, you will not benefit from the Dhamma in the true sense. This is something I think it's important for particularly a place like this. This is a teaching college. Excellent passion in teaching the Dhamma. Many teachers here are committed to sharing the Dhamma knowledge. And it's a good start. But it's only a start. If you say, I have been here for a long time and I have been reading and learning and passing exam and now I hold a PhD, you can say that. But as long as you did not translate the theoretical knowledge into a way of life, then you are no more than following in the footsteps of the two erudite theorists. That's all. You understand? So, what is this? Now you look at this stanza again. Huh? We're going line by line. And I'll explain to you line by line. You say, I can read English, I know. If it were only this, then I would have wasted my time. Huh? It's more than this. The first line, one is not a knower of the Dhamma on account of talking a lot. Tell me, what do you think of that statement? My question to you, in relation to that statement, is this point. You tell me, what draws people to a Dhamma talk? Why do you go to a Dhamma talk? Why do you go? Sorry? Related to yours, meaning you know the Dhamma teacher. Okay, you like the topic. Okay, good point. So this is about the Dhamma topic. What else? The question here, I asked my question wrongly. My earlier question has two meanings. One is what draws you to a Dhamma talk, the other is what draws you to a Dhamma speaker. I stand corrected. What draws you to a Dhamma speaker? So some of you will go because so and so is speaking, right? Not necessarily, this is on Dana, you have listened to a Dana talk 20,000 times, you know Dana, but so and so speaking, I go. Yeah? What draws you? Yes?
You have been a very good Dhamma speaker, and I think you are very, very strong in your practice, so that's why
Okay.
you
Okay. So you are saying that it is your perception, it is our perception of what that speaker stands for, right? Now, for some of us, we may not be as discerning. So for some of us, we may be drawn towards a Dhamma speaker because he speaks very well. Ada style. Ada style, ada charisma. Meaning to say you are drawn towards somebody for certain qualities, like his adult style and character. But more than that, he holds many titles before his name. Dr. So-and-so, PhD of da-da-da, right? He's the rector of so-and-so, whatever university. Oh, nice. Harvard, So it may be secular titles that drew you. It may be. It will be reputation. In other words, very often we are drawn to speakers by something I call proxies. And the point which I want to point to you is you've got to understand proxies are proxies. Not enough. It has to be more. Sometimes you will have a speaker who really knows his stuff. He's really a practitioner, but may not be the most entertaining speaker. Yes. Have you seen it? Will you go back? Okay. Watch YouTube, watch YouTube. The point is, those speakers are the ones that you can learn from. Don't go strictly for form. Don't go by strictly titles. You go, you size up, you don't be intimidated. Don't be intimidated by the spread of knowledge, the very eloquent speech, the force of personality. These are all wrong proxies. You understand? The next line, the next critical line that was said in the stanza was this line that says, sees the Dhamma in the body. Did you remember that? The question is, what does this mean? Ultimately, whether or not you learn and you grow in the Dhamma really depends on what you can see, what you can objectively, sharply, clearly distill from observing happenings within the form and the mind. This body is not just the form, it's the body, the whole thing. What is happening in the mind and what is happening in the body? What do you look out for? I call this the infrastructure organic parts. 5 aggregates, 6 sense bases. What are 5 aggregates? Form, rupa, your body. What else? Vedana, feelings. What else? Sanya, perception. What else? Shankara, mental formations or volitional formations. What else? Chitta, vijnana, consciousness. Now, these are, why do I call them infrastructure? You are made out of parts. You are made out of the mental parts and the physical parts. And when it comes to the physical parts, you know from classes, you hear about earth, air elements, fire elements, water elements. You hear about contact, conditions. You hear about words like this. All these words are not concepts. They are real parts of you. If you sit down, do nothing but just breathe. All you'll do is breathe. In that breathing, what do you see? Air going in through the lungs into the tummy if you breathe that deeply. This is a mechanical part. There's a process. And the other parts, just on breathing alone, there is form and there is mind registering what's happening to the form. The practice requires, in this Dhamma practice, it requires you to become aware of whatever is happening to you at any one time. And you want to be aware of the spectrum, not just one. So not just spot breathing. Awareness of what's going on in the body, top, toe. Awareness of seeing, hearing, tasting, smelling, so on and so forth. Awareness when you're standing, awareness when you're sitting, when you're walking, and so on. All these, basically, you take the form and the mind into your laboratory, your mental laboratory, and you start watching these parts. Okay? What are you watching for? A process. I said earlier about breathing. The breathing process. What do you notice? I'm going to show you the rest. Sorry, this one. What are you supposed to be observing? The fact that in the process, in the experience, it is impermanent. Everything comes and goes. You are aware of feeling. Anger arises, anger fades. Hearing starts, seeing next. You understand? When we are talking about developing mindfulness, it's developing mindfulness of what is going on at any one time. The moment mindfulness arises, you look at what's going on in the mind and in the form. If, for instance, you're standing and you're suddenly aware of your feet coming into contact with the floor. Floor is cold. You will register contact, cold, hard, or whatever. And you are also to register change. The mind flips, flops, change. So if you are able to become aware of change, that's a very important part of the practice. So one who sees the Dhamma, who sees the Dhamma in the body, essentially means taking the body to understand the mind and to understand what the Buddha was teaching. The key components of the Buddha's teaching are all found from observations of what's going on in the body. You understand? So if you study text and you memorize in whatever languages, you study the text, you memorize exactly what he said and all these things, but you never spend any time just observing the body and the mind and the interactions and experiences. You never spend any time actually looking. Then, what you have gone through is the primary school part. The part where you gather information, you do by rote learning. Memorizing, parrot. People say you do, people say you say, people say you say. That's it. Exactly whether or not you understand what was said, it's another thing. May or may not. Whatever that you read, whatever that you learn, you have to apply and see it in the form. If you don't see it, you never apply, all the things that you have learned have no meaning. Now that is a different part. If you learn, memorize, then you say, now I'll go and look at, she said must look at the body, so I look. And then you look and you look and you look and you don't see how it applies. What does that mean? Happens, right? You look and you look and look and then you don't know how it applies. You absolutely have no idea how it applies. What it means is you either learn wrongly, or what you're learning is wrong, or what you're applying is wrong. So it could be a case of, I don't understand, this actually doesn't work, or what? You have to go explore. Check it out. Do not take it lying down. If it doesn't apply, one of two things must be wrong. Either you don't understand or it is wrong. Everything, and I'm telling you from experience, everything that the Buddha has said in the Sutta Pitaka, not everything, sorry. Most things that the Buddha has said in the Sutta Pitaka, you can see. It's a description of what's going on in the mind and what's going on in the body. Most things that he had said in the Sutta Pitaka, you know what's the Sutta Pitaka, right? The discourses. Most things that he has said in the Sutta Pitaka can be seen by you in your daily life. Some things you can't see in daily life. For instance, he talking to Devas, that part you can't see lah. There's a lot of that. But the part where he describes the mind, the practice, what must be done, why it must be done, how it must be done, all those, yes, you can see in daily life. It is not him talking out of his head. They are description of real mental experiences. So, I repeat, if you read, you don't understand. When you learn, you don't understand. It's either a case where your understanding is off, or what is written there may not be right. But I will tell you from experience that the Sutta Pitaka, that many of the discourses that the Buddha talk about, they are right. So the odds are, Sutta Pitaka, I keep repeating this, most of what's written in the Sutta Pitaka refers to experiences of the mind, and they can be understood. You can understand it. If you were to practice exactly as he prescribed, there is no reason for you not to understand, not to see what he said you must see. Okay? When I wrote this down, the word right teacher, I asked myself how to explain this part. I thought about it. I still don't know how to explain this part. But unfortunately, this is very important. This thing about the right teacher. I will share with you what the Buddha said to a lay person who was all ready to pay respect to anyone who is he considered a practitioner. So that guy was just going around. Every time you see a practitioner, he'll bow. And the Buddha said this to him. The Buddha said, you can't tell, just by looking, you can't tell if the person is truly a practitioner. You want to spend time being with the person, observing objectively conduct, behavior, using conduct and behavior as proxy to then get a sense whether or not the person is a practitioner. I would like you to, I don't know how you're going to take this, but my advice is take the Buddha's teaching, take it to heart. Take the Buddha's teaching to heart. This is important because in this time and age, many of us do require assistance in understanding the sutta, in walking this path. Many of us, when we read suttas for the first time, we don't really understand. I went through that. Didn't really understand. Why? Because he's describing the mind. And if you've never seen the mind, you've never spent time looking at the mind, of course you won't know what he's talking about. So we take the shortcut by looking for a teacher who can explain to us and explain it in our modern language so that we don't fall asleep. Right? So we go to a teacher, we ask for help. And then if the teacher is competent, you listen, and then it says, it makes a lot of sense. I get it, I know, I understand what the Buddha was saying. Right? And then with that conceptual understanding, now you try and do your own practice. So that the role of the teacher is actually very important. But the problem is, this word, right, is not any teacher. It's the right one. Where do you find that? How do you know? When I don't know any better, how do I know he's right? So I'm saying that maybe we can use the Buddha's teaching on this point. First, observe his conduct. See, you can't tell the person's mind, right? Because I'm assuming you don't read minds. Right? Fair assumption? And because you don't read mind, you will then give everybody you see the benefit of the doubt. And because of that, your mind is completely open. The benefit of the doubt means your mind is completely open. That's when you can go wrong. So what's the proxy? He said, look at the person's conduct, look for the lobha, dosa, moha. If the person's lobha is your level, what can he teach you? Same level one. You so lobha, I also so lobha, we all lobha together. What can he teach you? And then the other, and that one you can see. right? You can't see loba, seriously. One piece of cake left, he chill, you chill. You see what I'm saying? Dosa. You know, really, even blind also can hear. Dosa. Yes? The voice raise, the nose flare a bit, lao gua a bit, anger energy coming at you. That's dosa what? Now you ask yourself this. This is a practice about a peaceful mind, where at the end of this journey, the person is at peace and Brahma Vihara galore. You know what's Brahma Vihara, right? Metta, kindliness and friendliness, compassion, empathy, very strong empathy, and not attached, quite equanimous. So, a practitioner, by the practice, will head in this general direction. They will become more Brahma Vihara, for sure. So, if your teacher is easily agitated, is easily riled, then something is off, right? You cannot make excuses. Very often, we are intimidated enough to make excuses, or we love the person enough to make excuses. And my point is, it's your Dhamma practice. It is your Dhamma practice. This life is not indefinite, right? So you should pay attention to whether or not the person walk the talk. Or it's just talk only lah. That's where the first part comes in. Talk a lot. Do you understand? So, pay attention to who you take as a teacher. Minimally go by this proxy indicator. Reduce anger, reduce craving. Moha you can't tell. Some can, but most times hard to tell. Okay, that's one proxy. The other one is, if he is very calm and very quiet, then it's what is said. What is said. The Buddha's Dhamma is about Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path. You may think Four Noble Truths, Eightfold Path, chicken feed. You may think so, because you understand Four Noble Truths. Dukkha, arising because, you go on. So you say it's not difficult. If anyone teaches Dhamma of the Buddha, but spend his time talking about other things, other than the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path, you must ask yourself, why? How come? Because Four Noble Truths, Eightfold Path cannot draw audience, is it? Cannot. Buddha, in one of his teachings, said, before and now he teaches dukkha and cessation of dukkha. That is the crux of the Dhamma. And then you say, what is there to teach with the same point? Teach you how to understand dukkha, teach you how to navigate, manage your conduct, manage your mind so that you can understand dukkha. Teach you how to overcome craving, habits. There's a lot to teach there. There are a lot of things to say there. So if you have a Dhamma teacher who thinks that Four Noble Truths, Eightfold Path is primary school, now we talk big time. Other things other than this 4 and 8. Sipui. Talk something else. I give you 64. You have to really wonder, okay? So, two sets of things. His character and behavior and the things that he talks about. what he emphasized. If the emphasis is purely on morality, 5%, you keep your 5%, don't drop your 5%, take 8. If the emphasis is entirely on precepts and nothing else, precepts are important, don't get me wrong, precepts are important, but what I'm saying is, if it's only precepts and nothing else, you also must jaga, because this is a morality teacher. This is only a morality teacher. In the spectrum of what the Buddha say is important or are important, morality ranks number 1. Not the most important. It's the start point of the entire practice. In this journey, there are many steps. Getting the morality straight is step 1. Which means this teacher, for whatever reason, may only be taking you to step 1. After that, you must get off, change leaf, and go up. Okay? If you have a teacher that only talks about meditation and nothing else, then it's 30% of the Eightfold Path. You understand? Eightfold Path is 8, not 1, not 3, 8. So some of you may say, hey, you cannot see so many things, ma. One thing at a time. I understand. Buddha got tell you one thing at a time, eh? When Buddha taught the Dhamma, did he teach this way? Today I teach you Sanda, okay? Next time I teach you Sila. Did he do that? He didn't. You know what I'm saying? We can make all kinds of excuses. We can say all kinds of things. But my advice is always go back to what the Buddha did. He did 8 parts, we don't suka subtract 6. Wrong. You say, yeah, but this is the start point. I understand, but the start point got other parts or not? If the start point doesn't have other parts, it means you got to change bars at some point, okay? So this is about the right teacher. Now, right practice. You remember earlier, I went on and on about Dhamma is not just hard facts and knowledge and a lot of talks and things. It's about practice, right? And then some of you, the more discerning one, will say, when is she going to get to the part where we talk about right practice? So there it is, right practice. What does right practice mean? It's the Eightfold Path. I kid you not. The right practice is the Eightfold Path. Then some of you will say, okay, I got 8 already, ma. I really practice, I observe my precept, I dutifully read the Dhamma. I got 8 already, ma. Yes, Eightfold Path, not like that. Eightfold Path comprises 3 parts. Okay, this is when I talk about practice. Eightfold Path comprises 3 parts. Right understanding, wisdom, right? Right understanding and right thought, the wisdom part. The Sila morality part. And then the part where you make effort to calm the mind down. For what? Why these 8 parts? How do they work? What it means is you must consistently clean up your understanding of the Dhamma. The first part that says right understanding and right thought is the part where you constantly, on a daily basis, regularly, if possible daily, if possible hourly, you will reflect on the Dhamma. Not the big complex things. Start simple. Start at whatever level that you can. So if you're very new, remember 4 Noble Truths. It starts with that, it will end with that. But minimally, remind yourself, what did the Buddha say about dukkha? What did the Buddha say about craving? being a problem that brings up that dukkha. What did he say? That when you are able to drop that craving, dukkha should cease. You reflect. You remind yourself. How many of you, before you came here, 1 hour before that, reminded yourself of Noble Truth? Okay, never mind. One Noble Truth, dukkha. Bo, what about the whole of today? Any of you in the past 1 month? If don't have, jialat. So, you actually need to make the awareness of the teaching as a part of your life. Don't attend talks after talks, read books after books, if you don't spare a thought for dukkha and the correlation between dukkha and craving. You've got to see this in your life. When you sit and you go, I'm hungry. Can you see in that one phrase, craving dukkha? Can, right? So what? Real, right? You hear what I'm saying? Can you see that if you after the class almost ending at what time, and then you say, I need to catch a bus, that actually go on and on and on. Dukkha. Can you see that? That craving. So craving is a very big problem. Reflect on that. Know that. Be aware of that. Then, if you have any wisdom, if you have any wisdom, what must you do? Nekkhamma, renunciation. You remember? The first one that says right understanding. So that's why I'm telling you. Drill it into your mind, reflect, be aware. Then the next one that says right thought. Sankappa, right? Right thought. There are 3 parts to that. If craving gives rise to dukkha, what must you learn to do? You must learn to let things be. You must learn to let things go. And then you say, very hard, man, that's the reason for the dukkha. No. The reason for the dukkha is the craving. Previously, you have craving for something. Now you have craving to let something go. It's craving, not letting go. Did you know what I just said? It's the craving to let go that's the problem, not the letting go part. You understand? So, you have to then become aware of what is craving and what is letting go, and they're not the same thing. You become aware of that. That's seeing the Dhamma in the body, okay? Now, the Sila part, how does it work? You have something called right speech, right action, right livelihood. I will put it to you this way. This part is when you try not to do wrong. The main part in the Sila part, when you say right speech, right action, is the part where you try not to do wrong. But it doesn't stop there, because the next one says right effort. You try to do right. You try to build all the positive mental energies. Why do you need to build positive mental energies? You know what positive mental energy is, right? Giving, dana, helpfulness, consideration, care. All these are positive energies, positive mental energy. Do you know why you need to build positive mental energy? You first got to restrain all the bad habits. Then you got to bring up the good ones. Is to change the neural pathways here. As long as your mind here, as long as the brain is more used to stress factors and not so familiar with the nice mental faculties, the nice ones, the good ones, the wholesome ones. Our brain regularly is stuck in the bad one, the unwholesome ones. And it's not so familiar with the wholesome ones. What will happen to a typical brain like this is high stress factor, hard to meditate, hard to be mindful. There's no way you can do mindfulness well when your mood is so bad. And when your mood is so bad, there is no way you can meditate. Many people say, we want to learn meditation so that we can become less stressed. But my point is, you have to be less stressed, then you can meditate. I'm not kidding you. Why do you think the Eightfold Path flow this way? So right practice requires you to actively become a nicer person in a deliberate way and with understanding. That's why it starts with understanding. If you're doing all these without the understanding, then what you would have is a very nice puppet, a robot. You bounce around trying to be nice, but deep down, you have no idea. You just do because I'm supposed to be nice. A Buddhist is supposed to be nice. A Buddhist is supposed to be giving. So I will be a giving person because I'm a Buddhist. Tak jalan lah. After a while, you will have a backlash. You'll be very nice, very nice, very nice, very nice. Then I'll take this knife and chop you up. But I cannot take it already. That can happen. So, that is why the whole path starts with right understanding. Know why you are doing all these. Understand that when you do these, it is to generate other conditions. Then you say, very selfish leh. I'm trying to practice and so I do good. You know, when you try and practice and you're trying to do good, the world is a better place. And not a selfish thing. You're just a nicer person, it's a better place. Don't worry about the self-interest in wanting to practice. Eventually, the self disappears. So it's okay. Okay? Now, right understanding means I know this path is about understanding dukkha. I experience dukkha. The reason why I experience dukkha is this energy of craving keeps coming up. So the trick is to neutralize the craving energy, neutralize it. How do I neutralize it? And the Buddha says Eightfold Path. Wow, it's back to this circle. Yes, he's right. Because if you are trying to neutralize craving, first you must understand what is craving. Where do they surface? How do they surface? Then you need to understand. Actually, when you're being nice and being kind and being giving, what will happen is the mind produces the right chemicals for it to become calm, to settle down. When the mind settles down, when it becomes calm, the mind can meditate. For sure. When the mind is joyous, the mind can meditate. Now, meditation comes at the end, right? Of the 8, it's right at the number 8. The reason is because you do meditation when you have understanding of what you're trying to do. You don't start meditation when you don't know what you're trying to do. You must have the correct understanding, then you start the meditation. Because when that happens, when you have the correct understanding and you do the meditation, you will really see the Dhamma. If you don't have the correct understanding and you do the meditation, then you will have all kinds of delusion. Or may happen, you get more and more deluded about your abilities. Your ego grows. How nice is that? From some dukkha to more dukkha. And then the more you meditate, the more jalat your dukkha. Then you say, no, it doesn't work. Of course it doesn't work. You didn't do it with the right understanding. You understand that, huh? Up until this point, it's okay, right? Am I too fast? I think sometimes I talk a bit fast. Okay, so when you start to meditate and you do it properly, the purpose is to calm the mind down so that the mind could understand what's going on. I told you have to see the Dhamma in the body, right? When the mind is calm enough, it can start to see the Dhamma. Whatever that you have learned, whatever that you have read, begin to make sense. So, if you have not read, there's nothing to make sense of. Because when the brain goes quiet, okay, now what are we supposed to do? No, nothing to do. That is what happens when people go for meditation without the correct understanding. And what do they say? What am I supposed to see, huh? You mean you never learned before you came? I mean it. Can you see? You know now where the problem lies lah. You go for retreat, 3 months long. Man, you know, Singapore retreat 3 weeks, no standard. 3 months long, you go for retreat. But you never learn the Dhamma properly. You just need to see. See what don't know. When I see, I will know. You're so clever. You listen to yourself talk. I haven't read the Dhamma. I never really know what the Dhamma is, but I haven't read it properly. I never read any of the suttas. But I go for retreat, I'm supposed to see. Then I will see, and then I will know. Then you're Buddha. Because you didn't learn from him, you went for retreat and you saw as you did. Can you see that? Does it make sense? It doesn't make sense. In this time and age, in this sasana, he got the map, you've got to reinvent the map. And the odds are, because you are not the Buddha, we are not the Buddha, none of us here is a Buddha, because of that, our map will be distorted. And then our Dhamma will be jalat. It will regress, things will happen. You will start to have very wonky understanding. Okay? So it is important. It is important to read and understand. But that's not the end all and be all. Then you have to apply. So, what does it mean? You have to watch the dukkha, you have to watch that craving, you have to understand what the Buddha kept saying about dukkha and craving, how to manage the craving. Then you have to be a nice person, a good person, not just precept. I always say 5 precept is a very low bar. 5 precept means your karma doesn't die. Observing 5 precept is just make sure that your karma doesn't go all over the place. The virya, in the practitioner, the virya is the important one. That's the one that says, when there is anger arising, I will not give in to it. When there is greed arising, when you see the one thing, I will watch and I will tell myself, this is not important. You manage in piecemeal, in daily life, the little annoyance. Don't wait until the anger blew up first. Little annoyance. Window didn't close, rain comes. That kind of little annoyance. See how your mind doesn't react or reacts. If the mind reacts, your mind is still seeping in angry energy. If your mind reacts to very small thing, it tells you that there is a lot of stress within your system, a lot of stress. And so the mind reacts very quickly. This is when you really need to learn forgiveness, kindliness, learn to give. Give. When you are in a bad mood, it is very difficult to do dana. Give, then rejoice. But I don't rejoice, give some more. You will start to rejoice, otherwise you go broke. But jokes aside, this is science. This is not do good, do no evil only. This is science. This is pure science. When you help and you give and you serve and you put aside your own complaints, when you do that, the mind actually improves. That is science. And you will find the initial resistance to giving, to being nice, to being forgiving. Put it aside. Why? Because you have faith in the Buddha. That's where your faith comes in. If I have faith in the Buddha, if I have faith in the Dhamma, and I have faith that people can understand the Dhamma, the practitioner Sangha, then what he says, I will do. He says, be nice, don't be nasty, smile. I don't feel like smiling, smile. It's going to kill your muscles, is it? Do it. Lai. KKL. No, Kingina is what? GGL. NNL. NNL, okay? Next, our new motto. And you will find that it will get better. But that's not the end. When the mind gets happier, that's when you can sit. That's when you can calm down and you can do a little bit of meditation. Why is this important? Because the Eightfold Path is actually not the Eightfold Path. The Eightfold Path is actually a Tenfold Path. I am not inventing this. This is in the suttas. It's a tenfold path that ends with right knowledge and right liberation. This part you must understand. If you don't meditate, if you don't calm down the mind, you don't quiet it down enough, there is no way you can see the mind in a very detached, objective, peaceful state with no arising of craving. If you never see a state of mind that has no arising of craving, then you don't believe the third one is possible, cessation of dukkha. Do you understand? So if you can get the mind to keep quiet, and when the mind goes quiet, you sit in a state of mind which does not chase, it's quiet. Then your understanding of the Dhamma must be enough to tell you it is possible for a mind not to chase, not craving, not chasing, not wanting. When the mind sits there without chasing and wanting at all, it's not a retarded mind. It's a mind at peace. In that state of mind, that is as close to the Dhamma as you can get. That is seeing the Dhamma. And then it will reinforce the faith in you to say, Eightfold Path works, got it, let's move some more. Life. Got it, we'll do that. You get it? You understand how the thing works? Not like that, leh. No, Okay, I repeat the lecture over again. Then I go home watch YouTube. Okay, get it? This Dhammadhara does not neglect the Dhamma. What it means is, if you are someone who bears the Dhamma, you carry the Dhamma, you do not forget the practice. In daily life, you must not forget the practice. What are the practices? I won't give you the rest, why don't you tell me? What do you think are the practices that you should observe in daily life? What do you think? 我讲了很多话了. What do you all think? Be mindful, okay? I will show you the list afterwards. Be mindful of the Dhamma, mindful of wholesome, unwholesome. Be mindful, not mindful of not like that. Not mindful of body parts in slow motion. That helps to build mindfulness, but that's not the intent of mindfulness. In other words, if you came out of a retreat thinking that mindfulness is like this. I haven't moved my foot yet. Shh. If you, not so good, huh? If you think, exactly. If you think that mindfulness is seen from how slow you move from one end to the other, your mindfulness is wasted. Because it's not about how slow you can be. It's about what you're supposed to do. Mindfulness is supposed to help you become more aware of what the Buddha taught and whether it makes sense. Oh, sorry. Blue screen. Black screen. Okay. Mindfulness is really a tool that helps you to see and understand the Dhamma, makes it possible for you to understand the Dhamma. Mindfulness itself is not the Dhamma. It makes it possible for you to get it. You need panya for that. You need the wisdom for that. If mindfulness is not there, you can't catch. To catch the thought, catch the arising, catch the wholesome behavior, catch. Mindfulness is to catch. To score, you need panya. You take the ball, catch, throw, tung. Go through, understand, panya. But panya can't just stand there and throw, catch. You must catch, you don't catch, I can't throw. Do you understand? You get the analogy, right? Not that I play basketball, but in case you don't realize it's basketball. But the analogy is important. Mindfulness enables you to be able to get it, to be attentive to what's going on. Panya enables you to understand and draws the correct conclusion. Therefore, right knowledge. Number 9. But that's not the end. It's not about seeing. It's not about right knowledge. It's about right liberation. When you begin to understand the Dhamma, what would happen is you find it easier and easier to let go, to drop the craving. The craving is not so harsh. It's not so hard. It's easier for you to say, it's okay, I don't need it. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay. It's okay becomes not a mantra, it becomes a way of life. It's easier. When it's okay becomes a real way of life, then that's when you feel you're not shackled by your thoughts anymore. You're not shackled and pulled by the nose to satisfy your craving. Liberation from all these habits. Okay, it's a whole lecture on that. But very, in essence, the whole idea of liberation, right? Liberation is nibbana. The whole idea here is, if you are no longer forced, you don't feel forced, trapped to do things. How many of you would say, I do feel trapped? Sometimes I don't want to scold, but I have to scold. That's being trapped, but that's in the trap in a bad way. If you say things like, I don't want to sit, but I feel I should sit, meditate, I should do this, I should do that, I must be this, I must be that. Don't you feel very fettered? Isn't that fetter, bonded? You know what I'm saying? That's being bind. Being free is someone who does things without feeling trapped. He does it. He walks. He eats. He does things. His mind doesn't feel the pressure to have to do things in a certain way because. You understand? And very often, we feel trapped by our own thoughts. I should be a good son, therefore, I must do A, B, C, D, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, Z, A1, A, B2. Because you feel trapped by your own mind-made thoughts. Then you say, yeah, but society expects of you. Mind-made, society made you do. We have a lot of mind-made things. Okay? Okay. What would we say? Practitioner in daily life. I'll show you the list, huh? In daily life, you try to do good, do no evil. You try to be giving, caring, sharing. The dana part is very important. This thing about dana, I prefer to use the word chaga. This thing about chaga, generosity, is very important. It's not just generosity with things. Very often we hear the word generosity and we think that it's about money, giving. It is not. It's way more than that. You quarrel with someone. Do you have the generosity of spirit to say, I will apologize? My ego is not bigger than your pain. You understand? Can you see the generosity here? My ego is not bigger than your pain. And the people we hurt the most are the ones we love. Because my ego bigger than you, than your pain. See that? You are busy at work. You have to work overtime. Somebody is crying at home, needs you to come home. I'll come. Because my needs is not more than your pain. I mean my wants, sorry. Your career, your whatever, you know. That's chaga. You say, no, that's compassion. Yes, compassion embedded in it is chaga because you let go of yourself. You let go of your wants, your needs for someone else. That's chaga. That is why in the Dhamma teaching, the Buddha listed dana as the first thing lay people must learn in the practice, in this practice. Giving. Why? Because it's the easiest form. I consider dana the easiest form of chaga. No me? It is the easiest. Ask you take out $10, give. Ask you to say sorry. Especially when you think you're right. 我死也不讲，杀了我吧。Drama one, drama one. Right. That's the problem. So giving material things is the easiest. Letting go of your face, your ego, your pride. 我这样 give up 不是很没有面子，是不是讲了？ It's actually very hard, you know. And sometimes I tell you, I laugh when I think about it. How views? I have a view, you have a view. My view bigger than your view. It's view. It doesn't even cost a thing. You win, you win. Yeah, but no. I can give you $10. You just admit mistake. I give you. So, chaga, very important part of the practice. When you give care, when you give consideration, when you love without conditions, these are all chaga. All chaga. So Valentine's Day, buy present, that's the minimumness. Minimumness. I don't care how expensive your gift, it's the minimumness. Being there because, you know, she needs you. Better. Argue, you win. Besters. Okay? There are more. I'm sure when you sit down, you think hard, you will think of more. The point is, chaga is about letting go. Don't hold, let go. You have to start somewhere. Start simple. Okay? Virtuous behavior, everything wholesome, unwholesome, you try to let go. And chaga is very big on wholesomeness. You know, we all like to say, we meditate on metta. How many of you know about metta meditation? You never heard of metta meditation, right? You've heard of metta meditation, right? I tell you, chaga meditation, ada keras. Because metta meditation, sitting on chaga is solid. You think about the joy you get when you help and give and share. You think about that joy. Your metta shoots through the roof. So no need to, may I be well and happy. May she be well and happy. May he be well and happy. No need. Just give. And then you sit and say, I'm so happy to be able to give. I am so happy to be able to share. Then that joy starts, and that's where metta starts. It's like 变罪了. Okay? Next one. This one is at a higher level. Okay? Higher level. So for those of you who say, I've done all of the above, like this one. Restraint of the sense faculties. This is actually for monks already. But in my own my advice is that it can be done. As a layperson, it can be done. Meaning to say, you see something, you don't get caught up in the details. Just see and let go. See and don't hold. Like for instance, how many of you have got, say, domestic helpers? Or don't have? Do your own cleaning. So you all have, okay, the ones who have. Or maybe you have subordinates. Or some of you have children. Anything that's lower than you. Lower than you. Meaning you are the boss. You are the boss, you are the father, your mother, you're the boss, right? Okay. Sometimes I know the kids are the boss, but it's okay. We just pretend you are. And then you see something that they do, and it is not wrong, but it is not to your satisfaction. For instance, they clean the table like this instead of like this, like this, like this. You give it like that. You see, and you big because you told him 120 times to do it this way instead of this way. Now, restraint of the sense faculty is seeing, drop, move on. Don't see. This is the more blunt version. Of course, you can get to very refined, very high level of practice is when you hear the sound, but you don't get attached. And you know when the mind is not moving towards the sound. You know the mind stays here. There is a music going on, but the mind stays here. You are not drawn to the music. Not that you can't hear. That one is lagi higher. You can hear, but you are not drawn. You don't have craving. You don't have attachment. You just hear. That's it. Sound. So different levels. Okay, different levels. But at some point, this is to take you to become more aware of how your mind likes to come out and play in the world. I was explaining to some friends yesterday that our mind, very cute one, 70-80% of the time, the mind plays inside. About 30%, 20%, depending on whether you're introvert, extrovert, it will pops out and play with the world. What do I mean? You think about it. Do you spend more time seeing the world, hearing, talking, blah, 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 or thinking, constructing, reliving the past, planning for the future, having a wonderful party in here, all on your own, with your entire cohort of friends, all in here? You think about it. How much time you spend in there as opposed to eating, hearing, even when you eat. How many times you notice yourself or some other people, when you eat, did you taste food? No, you flip, see, reflect, think, ruminate. You know what I'm saying? Even when you're eating, maybe you're reading. Maybe there's an interaction there. But you're not tasting. Okay? Or some people, they spend a lot of time watching shows. Okay, like you're watching shows. But even then, you don't see. You internalize, and that party on the television has a field day in your mind. And when the show is over, you continue to think, he should have done this, they should have done that. Oh, no. There's a lot of things to say. So, every time you spend a lot of time in here playing, you are no longer on the sense basis. Now, how do you restrain sense faculties? By the way, it's also the brain. You watch thought and you drop. You watch a rising of thought, you're mindful enough, you tell yourself, mind-made are things, you drop. Don't think too much. So all these things. And then comes mindfulness, build mindfulness, no need in slow motion, a little bit faster can. Contemplation. You can't contemplate on air. So, a good practice is, whether it's a daily thing or at least it should be a weekly thing, grab a discourse, read the discourse. If you say, oh, I really cannot handle the discourse, never mind. Read some Dhamma books. Some very good Dhamma books written by practitioners. They make very wise, very good points. Internalize, remember. When you read, it is not to clock up the chapter. Tick, I tick. I've done 1/3 of the book, tick, tick. It is not about how fast you race to the finishing line with yourself. It is not that. It is how much of the Dhamma did you remember after having read the sutta. So, if you are very new, my advice is go read Dhammapada. Oh, not here. Stanza of 4. Then a line, 4 lines, one verse. 8 lines, 2 verses. That's it. That's all you do. For the whole week, you reflect on that one stanza. After all, Ekudana got one stanza, joke, jackpot, right? You can do that. Not the jackpot, but consolation prize. You can pick up a stanza from the Dhammapada verse. Once a week, you change page. If you can do it once every night, also can, but you must remember what you read. In other words, today you read, tonight you read, tomorrow you must remember what you read so that you can reflect. So if you read something and it really doesn't make sense, you must change, get something else that makes sense. You get it? You read, that's not to read. You read, you just remember, this one I cannot apply because I don't understand. Never mind, I will read, I will remember, I will flip the page or find another one I can remember. And for whatever reason, that particular one speaks to you, you really like it, you feel connected to it, that's a good stanza to hold. Okay? If, some people are very competitive, right? Dhammapada is so standard, easy. Let's go Majjhima Nikaya. Okay, okay. Some are pretty long, but you can take 2 lines. Take lines. Lines from it to reflect. I tell you my own practice. I read, very often I'll read it, particularly on Sunday. And I could spend the next few days actually just remembering what was said there. Of course, sometime later I still remember, but the point is, when you sit and you meditate, if you hold a stanza in your mind and you meditate, that's all you do, you go round and round that stanza. What does it mean? Reflect, contemplation. Then you say, is that meditation? Yes, Vipassana type. But needs a bit of practice. Because what you want is to hold the mindfulness. You're very clear that you are there, mindfulness. And from the mindfulness, knowing what you're doing, you reflect on the stanza. And then you look at the practice again, you see whether what was said by the Buddha correlates to your observations. Sometimes it doesn't, not at that moment. But later on, they'll come up. They will all float up. You don't collect gems. All you have is air. You must collect gems from the suttas so that when you sit, there is something to reflect on when the mind wants to go into a reflection mode. In daily life, you can have periodic mindfulness. Yes? Okay, let's just have a show of hand to wake everybody up. How many times a day do you find yourself becoming aware, mindful again? How many times? 1 time? More or less? What's mindfulness? Okay, you no need to answer. If you say what's mindfulness, never mind, later. The ones who say they know mindfulness, that they have done it, 1 time? 2 times? 5 times? 10 times? Very good. You have a lot of opportunities to reflect, to contemplate the Dhamma. You mindful, then you mindless. What's the point? It's a passing opportunity. Mindful, reflect. The moment you're mindful, reflect. What do you think the 7 factors of enlightenment are? When mindfulness arises, that's when you can reflect. You can contemplate the Dhamma. If your contemplation is successful, you will feel very energetic. You will feel very peaceful, very happy, very peaceful. Your mind goes even more concentrated. You will experience a certain sense of joy and detachment. And that's the state of mind that says, there is no craving here. Do you understand what I'm saying? This is important. You've got to see how the mind flows. Okay. And therefore, the practice, right practice, at the end of the day, is to achieve this. Insight, which is understanding, serenity is peace. In the two, there is a sense of not being shackled. Okay? Question? Any question? Oh, sorry, I got one more. Just let you know we have this coming up, 3rd March to start. 15 lectures. For those of you who are interested in a structured way of understanding the Dhamma and you have time, this is a Saturday night, right? If you have time on a Saturday night and you want to spend time in an environment where people share the Dhamma, this is a course you should consider. What I like about this course is the tutorial, where we have people, everyone that we ask to help, either to give the talk or to help with facilitation. They are all practitioners, meaning on a regular basis, they will sit and they will meditate and they will correlate the Dhamma with what they are experiencing in life. They are walking the path. We cannot say that we are all scholars. Some of us are not scholars, but we can say that we are dedicated to the practice. And we will try our best to share what we understand. The material that we use are all from the suttas, the discourses. You may know more. You may come with a lot of built-in understanding of the concepts, or you may already be meditators and you have learned many things. Doesn't matter. If you want to come and share, do come. But we do ask that you commit. It's not a supermarket. I come with my basket, I pick. Next week I don't like this course, no need to come. No. We ask that you be consistent. By the way, I had a hand in structuring the whole course. And in terms of what to say and what to cover. I had a hand in vetting through the material. Okay? Question? Light. Okay, any question?
You were saying about the right teacher. Is it true that they say that if the student is ready, the teacher will appear? How far is that? You said about having the right teacher. Of course, you said mentioned Buddha. Yes, of course, that's the first teacher that we have. But on a practicing ground, as a meditator, how far is it true that as you keep practicing, you will, let's say the student is ready, the teacher will appear?
First and foremost, in a question like this, it can be taken as magic. Da-da, da-da, magic. And I think there is a part in the question that wonders if there is indeed the magic. I will put it this way. I'm more a science-based person. And part of the reason why I'm so much into the Dhamma is because I can see the science correlating with the Dhamma, proving what the Buddha had taught a long time ago. Anyhow, I will put it this way. you know, you have always been attending talks, yes? And this is definitely not the first time you are in my class, yes? And if you remember, when you first started out many moons ago, when we were both still very young, I said many of the same things and you didn't understand a thing. Remember? But then now, she makes a lot of sense. I know this and I know that. The point is, when you start to grow, you pick out the right teacher sometimes. Fella talks and you go, brav one, because you're not easily fooled. And then you listen to another one, not the most enticing speaker, but you listen and say, actually quite good, good points. You're no longer blind to the Dhamma. When you practice and you do it right, on your own, you will begin to see who is teaching the thing that helps plug a gap, an info gap, or an understanding gap. So it is not magic. It is maturity that enables you to find the teacher. Okay? And for sure, if you were to meditate with the correct understanding and intention, if your practice is pure, you will find the Dhamma in many places. Because you begin to realize Dhamma is everywhere. It's when you don't understand the Dhamma that you are blind to it. It's there, but you didn't see it. Okay?
Thank you.
That's it? No more? We're good. 9 o'clock bus, who's catching? I'm giving a talk at BF next Wednesday, right? Not this Wednesday, next Wednesday. Next Wednesday, it's on Chula Hati Padompama Sutta. Majjhima Nikaya, this is a sutta on the practice. On the practice. So if you're very curious or very keen to know what exactly are the steps. No, we talk about the practice. I didn't list down the steps. That's the sutta that has the steps. All the steps. Okay? Okay. No more question, huh? That's it. Good night.